Hello, everybody. It's your favorite HR buddy. Welcome to another episode of the Out of Office podcast brought to you by Paid HR. This is where work meets talk off the clock. And today we are discussing a pivotal topic, something that matters to every employee. Literally, we are talking about performance, underperformance, and things that sound like that. I have a very handsome, good-looking gentleman who reminds me of my roots, and a very gorgeous lady who reminds me that I am not Gen Z. Great. Can you guys kindly introduce yourselves to our very exciting audience?
Okay, ladies first.
Oh, thank you. My name is Tim Tokwajai. By the way, I'm not Gen Z anyway.
Yeah,
so.
but I mean, now sorry for like taking off this jacket. I just wear it top.
Sometimes you just want to say chilled. So my name is Tim Tokwajai. I'm a natural professional with Old School Africa, and I'm excited to be here.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
thank you.
lovely.
Yeah, my name is Ahmed Aziz Adedamola. I'm an HR generalist with GG Africa, and I'm also excited to be here.
By the way, just very random. Ahmed Aziz Adedamola, do you have people call you a cube?
Not at all.
Can I call you a cube?
No, you can't.
Okay, you haven't said beautiful names. That's exciting. Okay, my name is Emmanuel Faith. You guys know me already, and I would be taking you on this exciting journey. So let's go. A quick one, a very light way to start. When was the last time you put someone on probation, and why?
I think that was a year ago, not in my current workplace now. But over there, it was, our field people are like field agents. So it's more of you have to bring in the numbers, you have to sell. And it was like the first time I was going to be in an environment like that. Now, I've been in other industries and sectors, but for that one, it was a bit dicey because it was a case of you have to go to the nook and cranny, the rural area to bring in sales. And it was just not bringing that numbers. And at some point, you put the PIP, you try to have a conversation, you try to put process in place, but it was just not converting. So at the end of the day, we had to let the person go. But, the dicey part is HR does the dirty job and the line manager is trying to dodge from facing the reality or addressing it from the points where it got bad. But then you have to step in as the HR person. So I think that was like last time that I really addressed PIP in a sector like that. I mean, other ones was pretty much present, but I think that was just a bit dicey because it was like a case of you have to go into the nook and crannies,
So
the
there
rural
was some
area.
intricacies affecting the
so it was a bit
performance.
dicey. You want to put a part of empathy because, maybe
You
because of
understand
the
the
kind of product
challenges.
he was. That was why it was hard to bring in the number. But I mean, the business is the business, so...
Ladies and gentlemen, the business is the business. I'm going to come back to some things that you referenced, but I want to hear from Adedamola.
Yeah, in my case, I would say last month. Yes.
Brother.
Yes,
For this
because
economy.
I'm telling you.
Wow.
Right? Because like us, we also have to do sales and all of that,
Yes.
especially when you have team members in sales. They are not putting in the effort, they are not getting the desired result. You want to put them on their toes because you need them to deliver, right? So you have to sometimes let them know they are not delivering. It's hard, but you have to let them know, right? So when you put them on PIP, you support them, you talk to them, have these conversations, set, achievable metrics for them and all of those things. Yeah. But currently, I think it changes when you put in more effort and you talk to them, right? In my own case, I do more of talking because I feel like when we are comfortable sitting across each other and talking, we'll get things right, right?
I really love that. And honestly, I feel like we've done half of this podcast already. And the second half is just practical steps.
Yeah.
But I actually wanted to check in on that a bit.
Okay,
and that's
please
the
go
part
ahead.
of, if it's a remote kind of thing.
Okay.
So I'll give you an instance, right? There was a time where we wanted to talk to an employee about, so we work most times remotely.
yes.
Yeah, but there are times you come to the office. But, when HR suddenly calls someone to
Like, I'm
an
in
office,
trouble.
everybody's
I'm
wondering,
in
what is this
trouble.
person doing? So I'm trying to put in that part out of you want to have a physical conversation. Yeah, it could be like an online meeting, right? But I'm just trying to say, let's say you are trying to talk to somebody about their performance, but you usually, as an HR person, will not call anyone to a meeting room, and everybody is looking through the transparent glass. What's going on? What has this person done? That kind of thing. I just remember I wanted to chip that in. That actually I encountered something like that recently as well.
I was going to ask an hilarious question. I have the answer. I don't know if you guys have an answer. What's the most unique setting you've had that kind of conversation before?
Honestly, I think you just have to look at the environment,
Okay,
and the demograph as well.
Okay.
If you're in a demograph where it's Gen Z, they tweak things a lot. For a millennial, it might not mean anything. It could be conversations around maybe a project or something different. But they tweak things, right? It could be so to them it could be something around. Is it about attendance, or is it because he wants to change this thing to instead of coming to the office twice, it should now be 4 times? Like they can really tweak things. So I think you have to look at the environment, the demographic, the sentiment around for each people. For me, I can't say there's a particular way to go about that. You just have to look at your environment. So what is applicable in my company might be different from that of Damola. Yes.
Interesting.
I would also like to add that prior relationship matters, goes a long way. You know, if you are the HR that is all smiley or jovial around the office, they don't take you seriously unless it is work related, right?
Yeah.
They kind of feel comfortable when you call them and you're like, can I see you for a minute? They feel like, okay, whatever is coming, my HR is a very calm, cool person. So they want to listen to you. So that kind of helps you when you want to even wield the big stick sometimes because they feel relaxed.
They won't even see it coming sometimes.
So it's the relationship matters.
That's very thoughtful. So it means that HR has to go that extra mile to establish relationships because it helps them deal with performance better. No, that's a major highlight. I mean, I was going to share a very hilarious thing, guys. I mean, I'm not saying you should come and work with my company, but one of the most exciting things I've done is to take an employee to lunch, and by the time we came back, she was on PIP.
That's good.
That's a good one.
We just went lunch and we talked about everything. And we said a lot of things. I asked her, and the good thing, and which will lead to my next question, is that at that lunch also, again, the importance of having a personal relationship, I discovered that she was just served breakfast. And right? That she was just served breakfast, and then that she was having issue with her landlord. Right. Yeah, but she still had to be put on PIP, which leads me to my next question. What are the general causes of underperformance?
So first off, right, one thing I would like to say is majorly is because there is no clarity on what the role is about.
I really love that.
Now, and that starts from getting your hiring right. Now, if you don't get the hiring right, it is hard to try to implement role clarity because you already missed it from the beginning, right? So you want to be sure that your hiring is thorough. So there are times that mistakes can happen, and a lot of people sometimes sell themselves so well that you might actually miss out on that. But it's important that you have a role clarity, and you don't just have role clarity by just having the JD on paper. Does the line manager understand what it means to manage that thing? Because if you don't manage the team well, it is hard to communicate what the expectation of that role is. So when a line manager comes up with, there's a need for this role, there's a need to now ask the question, what do you plan to achieve with this role? What is the growth pattern for this role? What problem is this role solving? Because it's just sometimes because there's a little discomfort in the department. We need to have this role, and then along the line you
discover that it was just an excessive
like, why am I even here? Then there's dissatisfaction, right? So you have to be sure that you have a role clarity. This is what this role is supposed to be, and then you have to ensure that the line manager understands properly the context of what that role is about, so you can be able to communicate it much better what is expected. Then you can set expectation of, at the first 30 days this is what is expected of you, most likely onboarding properly, and then at 60 days this is what is expected. So when we say set clear expectation, this is what we want you to achieve, this is how we measure that you've achieved this, right? So it's not just about, I want you to bring 15% or increase 15% customer retention. Okay, so how do you measure that I've actually achieved? Because if the number is at 50 and you want it to get to 75, that means there's a number at first. You don't just achieve or arrive at 75 when you don't even have a basis for
measuring
that.
Towards
then
75.
Back to hiring, get your onboarding right. If there is poor onboarding, then there's no way you want to. Because, I mean, I'm coming to an organization, and a lot of times, because if you work in a tech or like a fast-paced environment, I saw something today, and they said fast-paced means that they're understaffed. That's not what I meant. Please. But let's say it's a place where there's just a lot of moving things, right, that are moving. And sometimes when you move in, the first 1-2 weeks, you're already given tasks to start handling. There's no way you want to do something that is productive when you don't even understand what each department is meant to do. So how do you collaborate with them to be able to achieve the right thing? So the major thing is poor clarity, poor onboarding, dissatisfaction, when you don't set the right expectations into the whole hiring process, when you don't get your hiring right. So it's just very important.
direct.
And then maybe culture misalignment too. Because there's some people that just don't fit into that environment. These things are feasible because this person has managed, has been on a road for 10, 15 years. You just feel like, oh, you know what it means to be on the road, but is the person suitable for the environment? And then the leadership, you just have to get it right. That someone has been managing a role for 20 years does not mean do you understand what it means to lead. I would always say leadership to me is influencing a team of people, right, to achieve a goal. So it has to be a voluntary thing that I want to help you achieve an objective. So yeah, I think that's
You've dropped gems, and I think that you should probably rewind for 2 or 3 minutes and listen to all the gems that my learned colleague has dropped. I feel so proud right now as a learned colleague. Okay, great. Jamal, do you want to add one thing or two?
She practically mentioned everything there is about that. But another thing is that she's coming from the aspect of someone just joining in and not getting the communication right.
Yeah, I was actually going to help you guys make it to external factors and internal factors. But please go ahead.
That is coming from an assumption that only the new takers. Sorry to use that word.
No, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. So let's even talk about those that are there.
Yeah.
Why are they underperforming? Please go ahead.
I would like to come from that angle. Those that are there.
Free.
It's usually the culture for those that are there sometimes. And maybe there's a culture of maybe there's no recognition, there's no promotion, all of that's put in one place. People get tired and they don't feel motivated to just do the job anymore. At that point, it's a will issue, not a skill issue, not a knowledge issue, not an ability issue. You get that, right? And another thing is personal issues. Maybe, like you mentioned, you have...
Heartbreak.
Heartbreak. Landlord issue and all of those things, right?
Yeah.
So all of those things do happen, and you just realize that a star performer
Just dwindles,
just like that. So I think these are some other things that happens.
Great.
And sorry, to add to what he said as well, I think that when we are setting expectations, we should be sure we are going to be able to meet that expectation. Because when you've already made so much, I have just like you mentioned, right, for people that are in there, they could actually even be performing well, and then you're doing those. So sometimes you already said, at so you're going to put performance bonus in place, you're going to increase salaries, you're going to put this allowance, and everything that was promised or everything they are looking up to, they did not have it. And then there's no recognition for even the effort. It's just you consistently putting them down, derogatory words, condescending words.
No,
I mean, your mind is already out of the job. You are just looking for an escape route.
Probably just beating your time.
Yeah.
No, you guys have raised very valid point, and it's interesting that you guys are saying this because we've now been able to establish so far from this that it's not just about sometimes it's not a skill issue, it's not an I don't know how to issue. It's a misalignment from hiring, job expectation, and sometimes even a culture that is not rewarding or recognizing people. You doubled down a lot on onboarding, and I'm just going to take you half steps back. My first question is, how involved, we should be more involved in hiring process, hiring managers, HR, what roles do they both play? And then maybe my second question, let's take that first.
So for me, I believe they work hand in hand, right? Now, I'll say 60% of the hiring decision comes from the hiring manager, while 40% from the human resource department, and that's to check the cultural alignment and also to be sure that the request for this role is really much needed. One. Number two is also that there's a pathway for this role to grow, right? And number three is you're also sure that it's not coming from a place of sentiment or anything.
I really love that last part.
Is really needed, right? So when you now evaluate, so there are different processes put in place from the human resource department to ensure that they get their hiring right. So maybe you have assessments, you have different stages of interview, you have a behavioral assessment as well. Now, the human resource department is very much involved in that. And if you're also looking at the type of the level of role you're looking at. Maybe it's like a senior or like, so there's a way that you have to tweak it just to ensure that you get the right talent in. Now the hiring manager must know what he's looking for. Because for me as an HR person, yes, I have an oversight of what I'm looking out for culture. But when it comes to engineering, I have a knowledge, but I don't have the core knowledge
Competence,
of what is
technical
required.
know-how.
So as the hiring manager, you're also involved because you need to understand what you are looking out for. And it's not just about the beautiful face, right? It's not about just the courage. The core thing, do you know the job? And then it now comes back to the HR to now see
Does
how
this person
aligned does this
fit
person fit.
into our
The leadership part, for example, if it's going to be a leadership role and now you're going to be able to settle in. So I believe they work hand in hand. So both of them must get it right for the hire to be complete.
That's lovely. Do you want to add one thing? Just one thing.
I think,
Move on.
yeah, she already said it, but it starts from even the job description, writing the job description. I believe, I don't know of any other person, I believe the JD should be written by the line managers.
Yes, I agree with that.
Thank
Totally, wholeheartedly.
Yeah. your job as an HR is just probably just checking
Check
and
and be
see
sure
what,
that
yes.
is clear.
So from there, it shows you as an HR that the line manager knows what he or she wants in this person. So your job as an HR is just to support. The first interview, the line manager should be present. The assessment stage, the line manager should be present. Even to the last interview. Then to the offer part
Yes,
and
then
everything.
the HR
So
now
the line
handles
manager
that part.
is very, very important.
Great. I really love that you double down on that, because one thing I tell my colleagues within wherever I've worked and outside is that like a lot of things that people think sits with HR should actually sit with line manager.
Honestly.
So if you are here, a line
You get it
manager,
right,
you are
you
a
make
team
work easy
lead.
for the HR.
Because stop stressing us, HR. We are tired. Thank you very much. Great. One thing that you pointed out, I'm just going to double down in 1 minute each, is just the clarity of roles. Again, a lot of people work with startup. Our host paid HR is a startup. A lot of people that will listen to this, either work in a startup employees, team leads. We've doubled down on clarity of roles a lot. So where does the concept of wearing multiple hats comes in?
Okay, so for me, I would say that it's normal for roles to evolve.
Okay.
Because business direction also evolve. Right?
I love
Business objective change. Maybe the mission doesn't change, but the vision and direction changes, right? So that means that if you are going to A, there are times that you have to delve to D. So that means that a role will evolve. What is important is you communicate expectation. It has changed from A to B. So how you communicate it to the employee helps them to know. I think the issue sometimes is just that, we are on here today, tomorrow we have gone to the back, then later we move to the right, and it's just confusing. So it's just important that whatever the direction is, the business should be clear so that the line manager is also able to communicate what the role expectation is to the employee so they know what is expected of them in clear terms.
I really love that. Do you want to add something?
Yeah, it's not just about knowing what is expected sometimes. They might know what is expected and they don't know how to get there, right? They don't know, okay, what if I've done what you asked of me and I don't know if I've done it or not. So there should be a metric in place, right? Measurable one, so that at the end of the day, when they've done this thing or when they've achieved this result, they themselves can look at that metric and say, okay, from what I've done so far, have I been able to achieve this?
How do you
so far?
measure my growth
So
on
how do you
this?
measure my growth? How do I as a
Even
staff
know.
myself measure my growth? I don't have to wait for my line manager to tell me I've done the right thing.
Yeah.
I think when you set this KPI, right,
Yeah.
instantly, it makes it clearer for you to
Yeah.
check yourself.
Yourself. Measure yourself against yourself.
Yes. So before I get to you as an HR or line manager, you already know that.
Am I doing well?
not?
Am I dropping the balls? Yes, so I
helps.
think that importance of clarity helps a lot.
And to add to that as well, feedback. So when you set your OKR, when an employee sets an OKR, don't just wait till the end of the quarter. Before you give feedback. When the person is not doing it right, start letting them know. Don't wait till the end and then they feel like they've done nothing because you didn't do well on your role. So even when you set expectation, just like you mentioned, what are we measuring it against? And at the same time, do you give feedback along the line? So people know if they are doing well or they are not.
That's super inspiring, and I really love the direction that we are going. Remember, we were talking about this performance, turning around underperformers. We should be able to establish so far the different causes of underperformers, and it's fascinating because at the core of your responses wasn't even skills and competence. It was a lot around: is there clarity of alignment, role alignment? Is there culture? Is there rewards? So, talking of rewards, When you are in a scenario, maybe you work in a startup that is just growing, how do you direct rewards in that kind of scenario?
Oh my
No, that's a
goodness.
difficult question. I know. I promise I will not stress you. Don't worry, this is the only time that I will stress you.
Okay, so one thing I want to say is when it comes to reward is of different levels, right? So we have the monetary reward, we have non-monetary reward. Now we are in Nigeria. Well, this podcast is not going to be for Nigerian team only,
Yes, for African,
right? But
globally.
I
Yes,
think that
please.
to an extent in the Nigeria space, a lot of employees see, including myself anyway, see reward in the light of monetary, right?
Which is not right.
Well, I see. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that you.
Yeah, you're just saying
I'm
that that's the-
for
that's
me,
the
I feel
reality.
it's the reality of economy, right? Inflation and everything. I'm just saying that for me, I would love to be rewarded also monetarily because there's just a lot of things that you want to do. You want to improve on your skills. You want to get that certification. You want to try out that thing. It comes with money. So I'm just saying that. So it's in different aspects, right? And now as a startup, when there are sometimes money restriction and a lot of people. So I feel like yes, you can put the non-monetary, the recognition, the award
Shout
thing. Let
out.
people know that they are doing even the CEOs. Let them understand, like
They are doing
there's a
great
place
job.
where you're able to let people know that they are doing well. And there was
Letters of
something I actually did last quarter. I
recommendations.
did something like a cup. Like gold, you did exceptionally well because
that's
just
nice.
something that helps you to feel like your effort is being seen.
Oh my God, I
Now-
got a good cope at work.
Yeah, like
That's
it was just like a
exciting.
flyer, right? But I was just looking at now something that helps you to see that your work is actually recognized. So in the light of reward, so it's different ways. Like I said, there's monetary and there's non-monetary.
Non-monetary.
Now in monetary, there are so many ways. It could be recognition via email, flyers, open or personal. It depends on that. For non-monetary, now it could be in different aspects as well. It could be in performance bonuses. It could be in vouchers. It could be a different thing. But when there are restrictions, sometimes there is really a little to nothing you can really do about that because when the business is functioning is when you can get bonuses. And so if the business is not functioning, there's a limit to what the business is able to do at sometimes. So sometimes you really can't have it all, right?
Yeah, I get-
That's just it. If you're
that
finding
makes a lot of
yourself
sense.
in a startup environment, you have to also understand that it's
This
a
is what the
building
startup
stage.
can
So
provide.
what your expectations here are is am I trying to build myself or my career or
Add
my skills, or
value,
I'm
yeah.
just trying to look for money to improve myself. So it depends on what your need
You're
is
looking
at
for.
that time that determines where you want to stay.
Ah, that's very profound. Do you want to add anything?
There's
One
nothing
other-
to add,
Oh,
to be
great.
honest.
Yeah, I really love it. And I mean, now that we are talking about rewards and benefits, one of the exciting things that you can also do on Paid HR is that Paid HR can help you manage your benefits, right? So stop by Paid HR if you need some guidance, consulting on how to manage your internal benefits and maybe, explore new ones. We've talked a lot, and we're probably going to the second half of this discussion. We've talked a lot. We've established the reasons why people underperform. We've talked about the importance of onboarding and clarity and alignment of expectations. So I want to talk about, turning around underperformers. So we have this underperforming person. How do we turn them around?
You want to go first, Damola?
Yeah.
And then you could give particular scenarios here. Maybe there have been people that have been underperforming. Their life
You just
changed.
did the last one.
Their life changed by the magic
Yes.
wand of the HR professionals and hiring managers. Yeah, please go ahead.
All right. I would say, I think it's pretty easy turning around in a sense. Let me
Yeah,
put that in quotes.
Okay.
Turning around,
That magic wand is
The magic one is magic.
turning around an underperforming staff, right?
Okay.
And that is for the staff to understand that they want to also improve, right? Like I mentioned, if it's a will issue, there's little or nothing an HR can do or a line manager can do. But if it is skill, I believe skill can be taught. Trainings can be had. Mentoring, coaching, all of these things can help, right? If it's skill issue. But in a situation where someone is underperforming and you want to help the person, communication is very key, right? We mentioned
I
that
love-
you
yes, I
you
love
sitting the person down, communicating with the person. You just when you start question, what is the issue? You want to shut up and listen as an HR or as a line manager. Just listen. They probably have a lot
To share.
to share, right? Your job is just to listen, right? Once you are able to listen and determine that, okay, these are things that I can help with, you get. So you put in strategies in place. Strategies like, okay, should I mentor you? Should I get you a mentor? You can even do as little as not spending money and just probably do job
on
shadowing,
the job training, on the job
right?
training.
All of those things you can help with. And if you are in an organization where there's a budget for learning and development, you can also put that into use, right?
Because it
I
might
like the
not be.
specific. I like that conscious. Yeah.
You can also put that into use. And all of these things, I think, at the end of the day, constant checking-ins, like I mentioned, I think when someone joins your team, right, you don't wait till after the 3-month probation period to tell them they are doing well or not.
Yeah, 30 days.
It starts from the 30 days.
days.
Okay, you can even give leeway for
Right.
the first month because
I mean, you're just on
Yes.
board, getting
Yeah,
on board.
about 45, 60.
45, 60, you're already letting them know you're doing well. You are not meeting up to expectations. That way, they're on their toes, you're in their faces, letting them know that, okay, they are not doing well. And I believe that it should be in their faces if they are not performing well. Right? So that way, they know, they either think of 3 things. Okay, I'm supposed to sit up and do the right thing and perform. Or, I don't think I'll be able to achieve all of these set goals, all of these things they want me to do, all of these KPIs, all of this. So that, or they are just there willing to just sit and not perform.
Make an
And then
performance,
it
yeah.
helps your own decision as an HR or a line manager
What
to let them
attitude
go.
has this employee displayed
So
towards
communication
the
is very
feedback?
key if you are going to help someone improve on their performance, and putting in resources in place to also help them. Constant communications, even positively encouraging them, motivating them, it also helps, I think, for
Good.
those that want to improve, really.
I
But
love that you
sometimes
keep emphasizing on those
I've
that
worked
want
with staff
to
that don't
improve.
want to improve, and that is them. They're just
great.
building their time just to live. So there's nothing you can do.
Okay, Temtoko, you want to add something?
Yeah, so he said communication, which is profound. So when you identify what the cause is, it is easier to know the direction to come from. So if it is
I feel like
coming
she should say that
from
again. when you
identify what the problem
is,
it's much easier to know the direction to come from, right? So if it is, sometimes it's even a manager-employee relationship thing. Sometimes some leads really don't understand what it means to manage a team. And so when you're trying to communicate feedback, some say it in a condescending way, some say it in a derogatory way, or some just say it in a way that you are not making any progress or not making any sense. Sometimes it's coming from the angle of dissatisfaction. Sometimes it's personal issues. Sometimes it's because that role has evolved and you no longer have the competencies that is required of you to function. So sometimes you need to go through training. Sometimes, that role, or like the OKRs that are set, sometimes is maybe not truly achievable, right? Sometimes it's a stressful environment. Sometimes what you have set is really high and requires more than one person to manage it.
or needs to be adjusted.
Yes, or
and
adjust.
reduced.
So that is why also when you are creating OKRs, when line managers or when individuals create OKRs and line managers oversee, if you have time as an HR, go through these OKRs. So that is why you have to understand what your business
Everybody
is about,
does and how
right?
their
So you
business-
can tell when
Oh my
there's
God,
a
you just
problem.
gave me a task.
So I think that's another thing, because if you want to really build a performance
High-performing team.
you have to understand what each person does
Yes.
and also ensure that what is said. So there are some things that let's not go to OKR today. Well, so there are OKRs that are said that is just activity. There are some that they are truly key results and some that are objectives. So when these things are clear and understood, it's much easier for an HR to know, okay, I think this is overly, like it's something that might not be attainable, or it's something that does not even, this is an activity. For example, if you are saying I'm setting a meeting, I'm like, are you and your line manager? Are you sure you guys are doing the same? Are you doing the right thing? That kind of thing. So if you understand what the issue is, you know the aspect coming from and how to support the person. But if you don't even know what the issue is, it's hard to just, say you want to turn over an underperformer.
No, that's great. That's profound. And I know that we've sounded very technical a lot in the last couple minutes. So I'm just going to pop in an icebreaker question and then I'll take us the last part of this conversation. Okay. So icebreaker, would you rather let go of an employee immediately, or would you rather put that employee on probation with a slightly reduced pay?
Why do I have to reduce the pay immediately?
Okay, so let me...
You want to set me up?
No, so let me give more
context.
So say the person is like a salesperson,
Okay.
not meeting their target repeatedly. So would you rather let the person go, or would you rather put the person on PIP and then maybe reduce their pay or
Okay,
restructure their pay?
So when it comes to sales, there is your normal pay and there is commission. So you still get your normal pay. I don't think that will reduce, but I'd rather put you on PIP. I just want to ensure that, so if you got the hiring right, and it's just a case of identifying what
So
the
it's
issue
back
is,
to hiring.
it helps you to understand if PIP is something that can help this or it's not. Like you mentioned earlier, if it's a real issue of I'm just mentally out of here,
Just let the person go.
so there's no
Right.
point carrying dead weight when there's just other things to be done.
Adedomola, do you agree?
And again, I'm letting the person go. That's my decision. I'm
Oh
sorry.
wow, oh, no time.
Because I feel like you want
There is no
to put your resources, your time, your
To
energy into
use.
something.
Oh wow, we are supposed to be turning around the performance there.
Yes.
Okay.
But sometimes when you've done for the first month, second month, the person you keep talking, communicating, putting in efforts, resources, and there's no change. I don't
So
want.
that's
I don't
like
want
at the end of the
Yes,
probation.
I
you are gonna let-
I do not subscribe to reducing pay for any reason.
Can you people hear that HR are good people? Because see, both of them are nobody picked the option of reducing pay. You'll be dragging us.
At the end
Very
of the
good
day,
people.
I just
Let
there's
the
no
person-
point.
Great. Okay, so I want us to explain, and I wanted to say I want us to share our thought, but I really want us to explain and maybe take a stance. What are our thoughts around PIP? So different things have happened in different episodes and series of this podcast. And do we think that PIP is just another activity? And HR say, "Oh, man, make a just do PIP."
That she should go through
is
the
it
process.
a really? Is it a process that really change underperformance or impact underperformance? And you can just give illustrations to back this up.
Well, I would say PIP helps. It really
Okay.
does.
Can you people hear like this?
It helps because you might think HR just want to do the needful and just put you on PIP and then
Let you
be
go
their
after.
time and let you go.
Yeah.
And sometimes it might be like, okay, because you don't want HR to meet you at the
It looks like you did not go through the thorough process.
Yes. So when you put people on PIP, right, you don't just want to put them on PIP for putting them on PIP sake, right? You want to also follow up. That is where constant communication comes in, and you are on their faces, right? In their faces,
in
rather.
their faces.
Yes, you are
following up.
putting them on their toes, right? You are following up, constantly checking in, letting them know.
Who should do that though? Is it HR or line manager?
I would say the line manager, right?
Okay.
But the HR should support.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, HR is going to make the
They'll
decision.
make the hard decision.
Line managers will
It's the
just
one that
excuse
is,
themselves.
HR
So,
help us let this person
yeah, to
go.
make your job easier as an HR, you should support, right? You should support, you should check in as well, you should follow up. Okay, what are we doing to help this person? Right? We've gotten the root cause of the underperformance. So what do we do next? So do you have line managers? Do we have team members that can also come in and also help? Maybe high-performing team members that can just come in and also help. Because when they see their colleagues doing the right thing, they might as well want to just join in and do the right thing if they know that, okay, this person is appreciated, is well acknowledged. Okay, I want to be like this person, then let me job shadow this person. Let this person be my mentor in a way.
I love that.
Right. It doesn't even have to be the line manager because they might not like their line manager anyways. So why not let the
There's an
colleague take
inside
it up?
joke. I'm not going to say it out here.
Why not let their colleague take it up? Their colleague can be their mentor, help them out. I think if you do all of these things, right, and you will notice that there will be a slight change, either in attitude or in skills.
On this,
If there is no change in skills, there might be an attitude. That also helps. That means that person is willing to change something.
And then you can
It's
now
a
focus
step.
on maybe
It's a
competence.
step, right? It's a journey. Then you start to move step by step until person gets it right. I think that PIP helps. It really does.
Great. Them talk about the ones who had anything.
Yeah, so and also PIP, as much as it helps the person, it also sends a message across to the team members
exactly.
that people are
Oh my
talents
God, that's
are
a
talents,
unique
Yes.
right? Not
perspective.
just a resource. When we used to say personnel manager, it's not just
Yes.
another property or
Personnel.
just another resource.
Yeah,
Talent.
talent.
So we see. So because if it's a personal problem, there are some companies that have this EAP thing. You can go for
Yes,
mental
employee
treatment. You can
assistance
something like
program,
that. So
yes.
PIP doesn't just help the employee, you also pass a message across to your members
team
that you
members.
value your talent, right?
Exactly.
And you're committed to help them, but does not mean that you're going to carry dead weight. So it helps them to know that you are very high on performance, but at the same time you are very much present to help people, transition in their career.
No, that's brilliant. Those are very brilliant responses. As we begin to draw the curtain of this conversation, I know we've talked a lot. You might not know, but we've shared a lot of gems. Two questions. One is, and like both of you have deferred to it at different points. How involved should employees be in OKR reviews? How should that cycle literally work? Do I write my OKRs and I show my manager? They say, "Oh, good to go." Should I set it? Should my manager be involved? Should it be like how much of involvement, and what should the process be like?
So from my end, what I believe is everyone on the team, right from onboarding, should understand the performance tool you use. If it is OKR, let them understand how it works. Now, OKR is a bit dicey because a lot of people set activity as OKR, something that is reoccurring. They just see it as a key result. Now, if you understand that objective is what we are trying to achieve, this is where we are heading to, and key result helps us to evaluate that we've gotten there. We've understand that, right? So now the business says, for this quarter, this is our direction, right? And then the team leads now pick it up and say, this is the business direction. As a department, as marketing, as sales, as people and culture, this is how we are going to contribute to the company's goals. Now, when the department sets their objective, individuals now say, okay, as a person in marketing, or I'm the social media person, this is how I'm going to contribute to this. Or as a content writer, this is how I'm going to contribute to this. Now, when you set this, the line manager comes to see this thing you've set. Is it measurable? Like you say, is it specific? Is it measurable? That acronym, is it attainable? Is it time conscious? Right? Is it something that we can achieve? Now, when the line manager oversees the department one and sees what they need, because you also want to allow them to be able to take ownership. You want them to be able to grow to leadership role in the future. So you have to guide them to it. And so when this is done, the HR can now check in to see what has been said, because the idea is to have a performance-driven department, an organization rather. So that's my perspective.
No, that's very encompassing. I love it. She's perfect.
Basically, she just talked about teamwork.
Yes, just the role that everybody plays. Okay, so we've talked a lot. We've dissected what the causes of underperformance, the role that HR plays, the role that line managers play. I loved that you continuously doubled down on the role that even the employee plays. Yep. So when is the time to let go?
Well.
It's the deep side for me. And if I let you go. So we've done all these amazing things. When do we learn? When do we let the person go? Maybe how do we let the person go?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. If you've done all of this, you don't have anything else to do. To be honest, I think it's for their benefits, not just for your benefits as an organization alone. If you let people go, maybe they are fit for something else, and they've been wasting their time doing something else.
That's
so you might
true.
as well just.
And sometimes it's when you let them go that you actually discover that maybe I wasn't.
And you need to also understand that the organization is not a charity. It's not a charitable.
It's business.
It's business, right?
You have to make money.
So you have to make money. You have to make decisions, and it also sends the right message to other team members, other
that
employees.
Underperformance is not allowed.
Exactly. So you need to make that very clear.
That's unique.
You need to make that very clear. That the business, everyone in the organization is here to contribute one thing or the other to make the business grow. And if you are not doing your part, even after so much effort, so much resources, so much communication, then there's nothing to say. Just let them go. It's peace.
No, that's
because at the end of the day, you are letting someone occupy a space that someone that could have done the job better
is occupying.
And then it can even affect the high performers because they are saying
that
someone is not, and they are still dragging the person.
Yeah. So you don't want to build a culture where underperformance is allowed. Others are looking, right? They want to be like, okay, that person is not performing and he's still here, so I might as well not perform and just collect salary. So what's the point?
Yeah, and to add to that, document all the processes, right?
Very important.
All the conversations, let it be documented. So the person already knows what is coming. Because you already set metric for the performance improvement plan, right? This is what I would expect to achieve in 30 days, in 60 days, and you're not achieving it. It's clear. There's conversations that, when you have your communication, you can circle back and say, based on our discussion today, this is our area of improvement. And so I can see the things that have been set out. So there's really not much to do again. You already know where you are headed if you're not doing well. And I mean, it's fine. At the end of the day, you need to understand you have to make the hard decision if the business is going to grow. That is one of the reasons why you are in that role, right? To manage everything all together from the business perspective, from the employee's perspective. So you've supported the employee. It's not forthcoming, it's unproductive. You have to let the person go.
No, I love the honesty, the sobriety, and so let to the other end. So if you're here, you're listening, you've heard from, those who drive the decisions. They don't make decisions sometimes, they just drive, they drive the decisions. So you've heard from decision makers, decision drivers, a lot of things go into managing performance, and sometimes it's not just skill and competence, it's also other things. It's alignment on goals. Don't set impossible goals for your team members. Dear founders, you know me, I will call you. Don't set the impossible. So join the curtain of this very rich conversation. I want you to tell employees something. I don't want to say underperforming employees because that then would not be segregation. So just general thoughts the employees should know when it comes to performance review, and maybe please call line managers out. General thoughts to line managers when it comes to performance management. So both of you can go.
Go first.
Go first.
All right, that's fine. So from my hand, I'll say performance is so important, and it impacts on salary raises, impacts on promotion, impacts on advancement in the company. So don't joke with it, right? And make sure you document all your progresses, achievements, because whenever you want to demand for something, it makes so much sense when it comes from the angle of this is what I've done, this is what I've achieved over a period of time. So it shouldn't just be business as usual of I'm just doing an activity over and over again. Ensure that you are truly making an impact to demand what you deserve for yourself.
That's for employees,
Yes,
right?
from employees.
Great. Do you have anything for line managers?
For line managers, please don't leave the job to the HR body. So I feel like line managers need to be intentional about leadership, right? It is so easy to lead. It is easier to, influence your members to do something when they understand you know what you are doing, right? I can trust your decision or your guidance when I know there's something upstairs, right? There's something, this job, you can lead us right, and I know that you're going to defend us when the time comes for it. So as line managers, ensure that you know what it means to manage the team, understand what your department, your team members are actually doing, and then be able to, do the right thing when it comes to leadership. Communication should be very constructive, not just derogatory, condescending, and be open to feedback. Take feedbacks from
Very
your
important.
members, right? From your team members. Very important, because you just sometimes feel like you know so much and you're, up there, but there are times that the manner
You
at which
actually
you are,
need them.
you communicate this. So you should also be open to feedbacks.
Dear line managers, take feedback. Ask your manageries, the people you are managing, for feedback. Great. No, that's brilliant.
Okay. To add, I would want to go to the line managers first.
Okay.
I would want them to take
Ownership.
ownership and come from the supportive point of view, right? That you want to support this person, a team member not doing the right thing, not meeting up with deadlines, not meeting targets, not achieving the set goals and all of that. You should not come from the point of view that it's punitive.
You should not swing like armor.
Yes.
And
So
just
when you come from that point of view, I think they kind of respect you and feel like, okay, you want them to succeed. Because let's be honest with ourselves. If you're a leader, that boils down to leadership. If you're a leader, there's this joy that comes from helping someone achieve their goals, right? After putting in effort and all of those things, and you're seeing that person grow right in front of you, right? It makes you happy.
True. That's true.
Right?
That's very
so
true.
for employees, right, when it comes to underperformance, I think when you self-assess a lot, be your own
Critique.
critic. That's the word.
Self-assess a lot.
When you self-assess a lot, it helps you. Really does. That is where the OKRs and all of these things comes in place. When you already know what the goal is, right? You can as well just check yourself before the line manager comes to you. So when you take
sometimes
this thing
it's even helpful
seriously,
where you are able to proactively reach out. So say, hey, I think I'm having problem with this. I think I need
you need this thing, right?
Yes.
So if it's key issue, you can easily tell your line manager that, okay, I'm having this problem, I can't achieve this. This is why I can't achieve this. So you should self-assess. If you self-assess a lot, you help yourself. It makes you a better person, a better employee, and more skilled one. Like that.
Their employees self-assess a lot. And on that note, we'll wrap up this very exciting, exhilarating, interesting conversation. And for the audience to know that HRs are not witches and wizards, and for line managers to know that they play a crucial role in the execution of performance-driven conversations in the environment. Well, till the next episode, step back in when you're ready. But for now, stay out of office and listen to the Out of Office podcast brought to you by Paid HR. Till then, I remain your host, Emmanuel Faith, signing out.